Are we on right now? Did you press play? Are we rolling?
Do the thing.
This is Vicious and Delicious. Jah-C Dwayne, accompanied by JT Energy, and you are listening to Slam Fam Wrestling Network. Welcome to the family, Marks.
Family.
Oh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, the 7-Star Mind, Alex McCarthy, and I am joined by the man who counts three, Jon G, for the SCW 15th Anniversary Post Show and the SCW Hawkamania V Super Kickoff Preview Show. John, you counted three a lot this past weekend. How the heck are you?
All right, still slightly out of breath from anniversary. Whew.
I am too.
That was a night. You say you are too, but getting in and out of the ring as much as I had to for that main event. I'm sorry, I'm not a CrossFit guy. It's used to hopping up 3 feet onto a box. I was worn out by the end of it.
Yeah, I can imagine. So you and Larry Lemons both. I had to, that's my longest haul from the ring to the commentary table. So I had my work cut out for me as well. And then, on top of that, we had the Alternating Currents Festival on Saturday where I was outside getting in and out of that ring in scorching heat of over 90 degrees. So yeah, I think we're both exhausted.
Oh, the good kind of exhausted though, because we had
absolutely
packed card for the biggest event in SCWPro history, the 15-year anniversary. It wasn't just a 15-year anniversary for SCWPro, but also for Merrick Brave, Shane Hollister, Nevin Knoxville, Stephen Youngblood, and they all came down to the ring at the beginning of the night, didn't they, Alex?
Yeah, they sure did. I invited them down, Commissioner Sean Morrow as well. They all came down to start off the show and talk about how they just, 14 blocks away, a 4-minute drive, a 20-minute walk at St. Mark's Lutheran Church. They had their first show 15 years ago.
Is that
real wrestling? No.
St. Mark's?
No ribs.
Smarks?
St. Mark. St. Mark.
First show was at Smarks? All right.
Absolutely. That was their first show at St. Mark's, and then they were at the legendary Call Ballroom for their 15th anniversary, and they welcomed the special guest, Vicky Guerrero, who started off. What?
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Vicky Guerrero?
Vicky Guerrero, excuse you.
I heard that name drop.
Like she was there. I met her. You met her. Did you meet her?
I worked for her that night. I don't know if you know or not, but that's where we're going next. Is that she was interim GM for SCWPro, so I reported to her directly that evening.
Absolutely.
It's fair to say that she's a little more hands-on than Commissioner Sean Morrow usually is with running a show.
Without a doubt, she's way more hands-on than Commissioner Morrow. The opening match, though, we saw SCW Pro Tag Team Championships on the line as JP Finger and Jared Fucking Finger.
Oh, yeah. Such a great song. I don't know if you noticed or not, Finger and I were actually dancing to it, and he said, should we stop? And I was like, do you want to? He's like, no. So even Finger enjoys the theme song, so.
I did notice that.
That was a moment. We had a moment.
Straight back and forth match. looks like Thumb and Finger had picked up the victory. Actually, Jared Thumb made the pin. I made the announcement. You made the count 1, 2, 3. We thought it was over when Vicky Guerrero pointed out your error and not realizing that Jared Thumb was not the legal man. JP Finger was. And so therefore she reversed. She had the match continue. And Vicious and Delicious picked up the victory.
Yeah. Bell rang, super kick.
Kind of embarrassing, huh, John?
Not in the least. For anybody who has witnessed a tag team match by the two-time tag team champions, Vicious and Delicious, anybody who's watched from the seats knows it's easy to get confused about what's going on. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of coming and going. And when Finger and Thumb are getting fired up, there's a lot going on there as well. I thought I'd heard a tag. I didn't see a tag. I was going with legal man. But this is exactly what I'm talking about with Vicky Guerrero being a more hands-on general manager. Sean Morrow probably would have let that ride, and we would have talked about it in the next show. So, well, she righted what she thought was a wrong, but many people in attendance would have preferred the original outcome.
Yeah, for sure. And then great picture taken by QC Photo Bandit on QC Bandit Photo on Instagram of Vicious and Delicious with Vicky and the tag team titles. It was a great picture. Did you see that one, John?
It was a nice little celebration. Yeah, that was nice.
Absolutely. And the next match we had was Ray Sanchez representing La Jolla, Durango, Mexico, by way of Chicago, Illinois, taking on the Lucha legend, Latin Thunder, who, represents Latino American heritage in his own way. They represent the heritage quite differently, do Ray Sanchez and Latin Thunder, I would say.
Sure, but I think that they have plenty in common as well.
Yeah, probably, but great match, back and forth. Great seeing the size, a guy like Ray Sanchez who's been around for a long time, off and on, making his first appearance in the legendary Call Ballroom.
Yeah.
In a wrestling capacity. I thought that was a huge accolade for Ray. Unfortunately, on the losing end, though, against the Lucha legend Latin Thunder.
It is a great thing that he got to debut in the Call Ballroom, that Ray got to compete there, but gosh, when you saw your name on the card up against Latin Thunder, you had to know the way that was going to turn out.
For sure.
The Luchador Superman does not go down easy, especially not to debut in acts. You got to get a few more accolades under your belt before you're going to be able to take that man down. So,
I agree. Next match was the what I dubbed the Clash of Kings, as the new self-proclaimed king of Scott County, Wilhelm Emery, took what?
Go ahead. Yeah, good. The new self-proclaimed king, Wilhelm Emery.
The new self-proclaimed king of SCW, Wilhelm Emery, took on what I and a lot of people believe is the true king, Steven Youngblood.
But, yeah, let's just stop and just say, Wilhelm Emery, looking good, looking regal.
Looking regal, not looking like regal. Make sure that's clear.
Looking regal. Looking more regal than regal. What's more regal than regal?
That's
Wilhelm Emery.
But he was looking very regal.
He's more regal than a regal. He was more regal than a regal. Looking solid for being a usurper. I mean, the man looked like the king until the next competitor came out.
Yeah, until Steven Youngblood came out, and he delivered a lot of offense. I don't think Wilhelm got a single hit in, and Wilhelm took a hike, and my king, Steven Youngblood, won by countout. Gotta think there's more to come between these two.
My king, is that what you said? My king? Is this?
Yeah. Steven Youngblood.
So what does that mean? Does that mean he's king again? Does that mean that's over? Was that the end? Is it hatchet buried?
I would say kingdoms can only change hands by pinfall or submission, John G. I'd say since it ended an account out, this thing's not over.
That's kind of what I would think. That amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat that Stephen Youngblood entered into the ring in was phenomenal.
We always pull something out for those call shows. Something new, something shiny.
It was nice to have a return to the Stephen Youngblood that I remember fondly previous to this king moniker that he's taken on. It was good to see the Stephen Youngblood from years ago still mixed with that king. It was a nice evolution of the man. So nice to see that, in my opinion. Regardless of a count out. Your king was looking very, very kingly.
Absolutely. The next match we saw, Sensei Bach and his protege, Jimmy Thomas, had their work cut out for him here as they took on the team of Johnny Wisdom and Jamie Hall.
Is it wrong that when you say Sensei Bach, I just start jogging in place? Like, I just can't help myself. I just feel like I need to start burning calories and doing DDP yoga.
I think that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, so
not sure what the correlation there is, but you know,
he's just always got those trainers on. He's got those white trainers.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel like I want to jog.
I heard on Twitter, I think Jah-C told him to stick to his Taibo. Do you remember Taibo?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Taibo. That's funny. Jah-C's funny.
He is sometimes.
He's funny.
Sometimes.
Jah-C told me that he got his mom a refrigerator for her birthday last year. And you know what? He couldn't wait to see her face light up when she opened it.
You got her a what?
He got her a refrigerator last year. And he couldn't wait to see her face light up when she opened it. Yeah, Jah-C, funny guy. Back to the tag match at hand. The returning gentleman, Jamie Hall, tagging with Johnny Wisdom, one of my all-time favorites. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle he's on, angels or demons. I love me some Johnny Wisdom. Against your favorite, Bach. Yeah. You continually talk about how fantastic he is, Bach Kwon-Do Master. So how did that match turn out?
I did not end up well for Bach or Jimmy Thomas because they lost.
There was some confusion towards the end, but yeah, that was the way it ended up ending, right? Bach and Thomas ended up packing up, running after they lost there after that pile driver. They were done. I'm sure we'll see him again though. Nobody wants a second pile driver.
No.
You walk away from the first pile driver, no sense in going back for seconds. So I agree with that.
Yeah.
Tombstone or sit out?
It was sit out.
Oh, no. Nobody wants the second one of those. Oh, God.
No, one's enough. One is enough. But, so I would love to see more of this team of Johnny Wisdom and Jamie Hall.
Yeah. I agree. Maybe at some point they'll drop the sit out pile driver on somebody while Johnny does that slice of wisdom clothesline from hell on their legs, and they just murder them.
They did a variation of that. It was the Midwest Strong Style lariat into a German suplex. So Jamie held him there, and Johnny hit the lariat, and then he threw him with the German suplex.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yep, absolutely, no doubt about it.
The type of tag team maneuver that's gonna sell tickets. That is, people want to see that. Wow.
Yeah. After that, I had the honor of conducting the SCW Hall of Fame ceremony, if you will. I got to induct Leon Vader White into our Hall of Fame, and then I got to bring out Bobby Dahl for his speech, and I thought he gave a great speech. Did you get a chance to hear it from up in the locker room, John?
Yeah. It was a heartfelt, stirring speech from the Glanazon.
Yeah.
He came backstage and was a little nervous about how it had gone over, and just shows you how much he loves the SCWPro fans, that he loves the industry and he loves the business. Is that even getting inducted into the SCWPro Hall of Fame, he came off from the ring and came in the back with the crew and the wrestlers, and the first thing he was thinking was it good? You know, that just shows that, you know, doesn't matter how far you come in the business, because the business that we're discussing right now on this call, that you can always want to do better. You can always want to learn more. And I think that was fitting for the Hall of Fame induction this year. And it's a bittersweet induction for Leon Vader White. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
It was nice to have him around for the few days that he was a part of SCWPro. Merrick Brave on our last podcast discussed that for a few moments, and I too got some time with him during that. I got to drive him around the day of the second show we had with him, and let me just tell you, that guy can fill the front seat of a Toyota Corolla. Wow. I was driving, but it was kind of like I was sitting in Vader's lap as we were going from hotel to the Walcott Coliseum. But nice guy. And I want to echo that from what Merrick Brave said on our last podcast. He was insightful and inquisitive, even from just sitting in the locker room and asking about performers and giving suggestions to performers that weren't in matches with him. And he was just easy to talk to. So for being the big monster who, you know, shoved his own eye back in his head once in Japan way back when, he was just a down-to-earth guy. You know.
Oh. He's probably, not even probably, he is my favorite big man of all time. He's one of my, probably my top 10 favorite wrestlers. Just, you know, when it comes down to just favorite, not necessarily saying, you know, top 5 or top 10, like the greatest of all time, but just my favorite, my personal favorite, Vader's got to be up there for me.
For big men, he is, he's high up there for me, but he's tied with Bam Bam Bigelow for the things that the two of them both could do.
Yep.
Being the size they were, that's the type of. But the thing was about Bam Bam was, no matter how many tattoos he got, he was always sort of a cartoon to some degree. But Vader wasn't. And I heard recently someone mentioning, like, Vader, not sure why they never got sued by Star Wars, but the word Vader is actually just part of the nomenclature, and it just means father. It's German.
The German word for father, yeah.
Yeah, you just can't sue somebody for using the word father.
Right.
And that's
also for those
still
Star Wars,
evokes that darkness.
It's kind of a dead giveaway. Darth
What's
Father. That? Darth Father.
Oh yeah, it was dead giveaway. Dead giveaway, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not to go. No, wait. That's another podcast. Let's not start the Star Wars podcast right now.
Right.
Similar initials. Let's not get pushed off to the side there. But so how did you feel doing the Hall of Fame? How did you feel about that?
I was honored.
It must have been an honor.
Commissioner Morrow did it last year. So when they came up to me and said, "Hey, you're doing the Hall of Fame," I was floored. I did not feel worthy. I was honored.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, bittersweet congratulations to you for being a part of that.
Yes, thank you. I mean, I didn't do much, but I was honored. Next up, speaking of an honor, what an honor it was to get to call and to ring announce Nevin Knoxville's last match against Crotch. And
Thank
what
you,
a match
Nevin. Thank you, Nevin. Sorry.
That
Every time I
absolutely.
hear Nevin's last match, I just do it. It just comes out of me.
Right.
I'm doing it on the Twitter sphere. I'm doing it on the Facebook. I'm saying it out loud in conversation. It just 15-year career came to an end.
I'm saying, like, had that, wow, just, like, that match was so incredible. Like, it didn't need a title. It didn't need weapons. It didn't need anything like that. Those guys just went out there and showed how bad they wanted it. And Crotch knew, I feel like Crotch was sort of egging Nevin on, like he was trying to get the best last match he could out of him, and to the point where we saw a whole different side of Crotch and saw Crotch get pretty frustrated trying to get that out of Nevin. And, you know, in the call ballroom, I can see the locker room, or one side of the locker room that's not covered from my seat, and I could tell that it was an absolute sellout at the curtain, as they say.
Oh, sold out.
Everybody was watching that match. Everybody. There wasn't a single person who wasn't paying attention to that match. And those two absolutely delivered, and it kills me to know that we're never going to get to see Nevin Knoxville in the ring again.
Legitimately the biggest competitor in SCWPro history. You know, the man, the same height as Andre the Giant. He is he's a phenom. He's not a freak of nature. He just doesn't have gigantism or anything of that nature. He's just our tall guy. He is,
right.
And I think it's something too, that because he's so slender, that it's deceptive for people how big he is. But in that match, he delivered some of the most crushing blows I've ever seen. That high boot to Crotch when he was up in the turnbuckle, and just ragdolled him. That high boot. I mean, Crotch had his spots too. He had his moves in there. He was getting in his shots. Crotch Rocket connected once. But that high boot was just the deciding factor of that competition. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. No, that was it.
That high boot went into
after that maneuver.
That high boot went right into a superplex, into Last Ride.
The Path of Destruction.
Path of Destruction, is that what that's called?
That's what that's called. And credit Timothy Regal for that. It's called the Path of Destruction.
Oh, is that what all three of those moves combined is called?
I'm not sure. You'd have to ask Regal or
okay.
But wow, just an honor to be able to call his last match. Just an honor to have been able to be able to know him, to be able to call him an acquaintance, and it's just so disheartening that we'll never get to see him in the ring again. That was his last match in his retirement. But to be able to have been there for as much of his career as he was, and seen some of the classic matches that we've seen him in, I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah, I'm lucky. I've been around just a little bit longer than you, so I've been able to spend 5+ years of his 15-year career with him, and seeing the things that he can accomplish and the things that he can do in the ring, amazing. But I'm also happy that he's thinking twice about that. He wants to have longevity, and he wants to enjoy family life, and I can respect that.
Absolutely. So much respect for him being able to go out on his own terms, and being able to put his family first, because, yeah, that's just, what an honor. What a great family man.
And, you're saying that, it's disheartening, which I can understand that to a certain degree, Alex, but a 15-year career is amazing in the wrestling business. And I think that we're used to seeing guys that are on our TVs for 30, 40 years and think that that's how long a career is. But, I mean, that's the exception to the rule. 15 years is an incredible, incredible feat. Let's see this graduating class from the Black and the Brave Academy. If they're still wrestling in 2028, 10 years from now, that's a feat for them. Getting a 10-year, 15-year career is an accomplishment. And when these SCWPro originals were starting, it was a meaner business than some of the things that our younger competitors have to put up with. So, I mean,
I guess when I say disheartening, I mean it's the fact that he can still go like that at this point of his career. Not to say that I want him to wrestle until he's broken down, but I don't know. It's just
always leave him wanting more. Always leave him wanting that more, Alex.
You're right.
And wrestling's not football. You don't leave it all out on the mat. You want to have a little bit of it for your retirement, so you can enjoy yourself when you're no longer hitting people, yelling jabroni.
All right, John. Let's move on. Let's talk about the QC Cup match as Bradon McBride was joined by Miss Olivia to defend the QC Cup against the Rock God, Ronnie Burton. And once again, we saw Miss Guerrero throw her authority as general manager around.
Before we get there, I just want to say I was completely offended by Ronnie Burton prior to this match.
Why's that?
How dare you take the Quad Cities Cup, if you're going to win it, and take it back to a different state and rename it the New York Cup, but you can't go buy a cup in New York and defend it there? This is the Quad Cities Cup. So that's where I was born and raised, and so, yeah, I can't believe as many people in Davenport were cheering for a guy that was going to take their title back to his state and rename it. But, whatever. Our fickle SCWPro fans, they love popcorn and cheering for whoever.
Well, I think maybe the reason why people weren't more upset with that is, can you imagine what Bradon McBride might have been doing with the cup? Think about where it was.
I was born and raised in the Quad Cities. There's plenty of guys like Bradon McBride. That's the type of guy that should have a cup. That's all I'm saying.
Either way,
so Vicky,
Burton ended up
Miss
winning.
Guerrero, my boss for the night, Miss Guerrero,
ended up disqualifying Ronnie Burton for claiming that he used the cup. Whether I should really know this, John, but who was the official for that match?
That was John Douglas or Larry. No, Larry was in there. Of course it was Larry. That's why it's forgettable.
Larry.
God, I just did that. Like it was written down on a piece of paper in front of me. Yeah, no, it was Larry Lemon that was in there. As far as I can tell, she enters the ring. Who's holding the cup?
Yep.
Who's holding the cup, Alex?
Burton.
Ronnie Burton. Burton's holding the cup.
Right, because McBride threw it to him and then laid down and played dead.
I didn't ask you about any of that. I said who's holding it.
Okay.
You permission to treat the witness as hostile. The person holding the cup is Burton, who looks like a dangerous mongoloid. So, what do you think?
That was how Bradon McBride managed to hold on to the cup. Well, we're going to talk about Bradon McBride in a little bit. We got two more. John, this anniversary recap is absolutely deserving, but we do have another show to talk about. We do have Hawkamania 5 to talk about. Let's get through these next two matches. The SCW Championship match. The champion, Mean Mason Beck, the walking horror film, defended against the Shook, Shane Hollister. Mason Beck had not been pinned or made to submit in 2 years. That's quite the feat. Is it
Absolutely. It is, and it was an honor to ref that match.
Yeah. Tell me some of your thoughts.
Every now and again, I'll say this, but I had the best seat in the house. The you want to say electricity or some of that colorful language that we use in wrestling, but the density of the animosity that was in that ring. It was a dark place to be. It started off dark. It continued there. I mean, hard-hitting strikes after hard-hitting strikes. There was a lot of back and forth, manhandling each other in the corners. Stuff that I have not seen happen in Mason Beck in a long while.
Yeah, and just the kind of the brooding. Well, you just look at first of all, the clash of styles. The brooding pace that Mason Beck likes to keep. And then you have the Suge who likes to keep it a little bit more fast-paced. So the fact that Beck was able to slow Suge down as much as he was, but then that Suge was able to come back from that.
With his frenetic style and just these frenetic bursts of just pure Shane Hollister. It's no mistake that guy uses the buzzsaw kick. He is a human buzzsaw. But Beck was grinding him down. You're right. The pace was at Beck's liking for the majority of the match.
But still, Shane Hollister was able to overcome the odds.
With a phenomenal second top rope stunner. Unexpected. Shane Hollister went off the mat like we would never expect. He knew that he couldn't just stay on the ground. He couldn't ground and pound like he did with Johnny Wisdom. Or like he has in the past. He needed to really reach into his bag of tricks and pull it out to get his repertoire going for Mason Beck. And that finishing powerbomb that he rolled him through on right for the buzzsaw kick was just exactly the combo he needed to once again capture the big red belt.
Absolutely. Huge congratulations to the Suge. And now I think it's time to talk about the main event. 10 men, 2 rings, tornado elimination rules. You had on one side the Night Wagner's Revolution, Chase Holiday, Robin Steele, Dion Roosman, Xander Killen, and Joe Acer taking on the team of Shane Bender, Sage Kanan, Dante Leone, the former Iowa Hawkeye Steve Manders, and Travis Titan. Holy cow, John. I mean, this match, you had a nightmare of a time trying to referee it, getting in and out of the ring, trying to catch those pins. I had a nightmare of a time trying to call it with as much chaos that was going on. Let's try to hit some of the highlights.
It's a match so big we needed 2 rings to contain it, and the 2 rings weren't enough. We need 2 podcasts to cover it properly, but we only have the one. From the offset, it was just checking to make sure people were alive. It was just constantly a waterfall of striking, powerful moves. What was one of the first things that you recall? Because I know that there was a number of moves early on. Everyone was just dashed out of the ring, but there's one particular.
To me, the first big thing was the swanton off the ladder.
Swanton off the ladder onto the table in between the rings. Probably missing a couple of details there.
Well, yeah, I was going to fill them in if you didn't. But I knew we worked together enough, John, that I know that I can start and then you'll fill in the details.
Yeah.
I give the framework and then you put the meat on the bones.
That's when I discovered that I am slender enough to fit in between the 2 rings when they're pushed up against each other. As I rushed in to make sure certain people had pulses. Taking and delivering a move in the middle of the ring when we don't have the metal grating to place in between the 2 rings to keep you safe from falling under the ring is a really dangerous situation to find yourself in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then from there it was just
the first elimination. We went right to shortly after that swanton that Sage Kanan delivered. Chase Holiday put him in chicken wing crossface chicken.
Like crossface chicken wing, yeah.
Crossface chicken wing.
And then Kanan tapped out, I believe, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I mean, after going through another competitor off the top of the ladder through a table in the most dangerous section of the ring, he then got smacked around 2 or 3 times and thrown into a submission move. I don't think anybody on this podcast would not have tapped out at that point. We might not have tapped out because we both would have been unconscious. Is that right?
Right. Yeah, the opportunity to tap out.
You can't tap if you're
right.
You
can't tap if you're dead.
Yeah. You're gonna have to get a Ouija board to see me tap. Yeah, exactly.
Right. But from there, I think let's just kind of try to go through the eliminations a little bit.
The eliminations next fuzzy, I believe it was a frog splash onto Chase.
Chase was the next one out. Yeah, frog splash from Shane Bender.
That's correct. I think that was the next elimination.
I think so too. And then from there it gets really fuzzy for me.
Well, there was Dante Leon was keeping hope alive, to say the least, and holding his own in the second ring, or what we're referring to as the near ring, near to the entrance ramp, and I went for top rope maneuver. Roosman hit him with the pounce off balance. That's when the tide turned. He went for another move, and I believe he took a spear at that point, and that was the elimination of Dante.
Yep. From there,
now I'm starting to get fuzzy.
I want to say the next might have been either Dion or Shane.
Shane Bender, so there was Shane Bender, I think might have done a moonsault, got the upper hand on Robin Steele, got him an O'Connor roll, and Roosman had a high knee or a super kick, and the roll was reversed. Bender was eliminated.
Yep. And then then it was Roosman after that. I don't remember. It was,
so after that.
Was Roosman eliminated by a hawk drop?
No, what happened after that was Titan crossface Robin Steele.
Oh, you're right, yep. No, no. Roosman was eliminated before Steele, I know that.
Okay, so then that was, hawk drop, but it was after a series of moves that Roosman had. And we actually eliminated. Okay. So the crossface must have come after that. So sorry, Robin Steele, we eliminated you early. But Roosman, who on his elimination
after Titan was in the cuffs.
Well, don't bury. Come on, we'll get there.
All right.
Hawk drop on Roosman dazed Roosman enough to get the 3 count, but as soon as he could get up, he of course threw a tantrum like a bull in a china shop, like he is, and I believe he pounced just about everybody he possibly could. Not the actual pounce move, but just the idea of just hammering on everyone. It took forever to get him out of the ring. Merrick Brave actually came out and helped me, telling him, you got to get in the back or else this is a suspension. This is it. We're saying no holds barred, but you can't be going back into that ring. And that's when I think the cups came. No, Bender.
Yep.
Is that when the cups came out? Yep. So that's when the cuffs came out. And I believe it was Joe Acer who cuffed Travis Titan in one ring as they isolated
Manders.
Manders.
3-on-1. 4 if you count Knight.
It was a lot like jackals attacking a lion, wasn't it?
Yeah. It really was.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. It's kind of like that feeling in Empire Strikes Back when they freeze Han Solo on Carbonite. It was just kind of sad. They were just taking Manders apart. Sorry to go back to Star Wars, but you stuck it in my head earlier.
That's all right. Yeah, they took Manders apart. It didn't look like he was going to be able to get it, and then I believe from there he
took Manders apart. Hold on, but they also took the ring apart. They pulled the They pulled the matting up. They removed the tarpon. They removed the skirt. They set a table up. They took that ladder that Sage jumped off of. They put it below the table, and then they covered the table in chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was going to be Manders' murder when, that's right, he somehow got out of it. Believe he collided two of them together. You're right, because that Robin Steele head-to-head with someone at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It gets fuzzy at this point because of how much was going on. I was checking on Travis Titan at that point also because being cuffed to the ring, he did have the option of submitting. So technically I was checking on him regularly just in case he was deciding he couldn't compete. Not that he would, but it was an option on the table for him.
Mm-hmm. So from there, I believe that the next elimination was Robin Steele for Steve Manders. Robin
Steele was not eliminated by Steve Manders. He was made to tap out by the crossface. So that you're right. That was further down. I think we go without an elimination for a while.
Yeah.
Until Titan somehow after I don't know, we can talk about the cuffs for a little while. He had nearly dismantled the ring trying to get the cuffs off around the buckle. He eventually got a piece of the ring from underneath it and was using it as a tool to untwist the ring ropes, pulling on the cuffs nonstop until eventually he did break the cuff. And I think it was watching Manders fight his way back like he did that gave Titan the energy he needed to get out of those cuffs. In short order, you're right. Robin Steele was then crossface tap out. Xander Killen was occupying Travis Titan when Joe Acer dropped a pile driver on the exposed boards on Steve Manders for a pin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
again,
then, go ahead.
Then Xander Killen from one ring was tossed by Travis Titan into the next ring, through the two chairs, into the table, onto the ladder of the ring with no mat, nothing but net. Xander Killen was then eliminated and carried out by multiple security. I'm still, to this point, I don't know what his health condition is.
And then there were two. Technically three.
Were there really two? There's three.
No, there's three.
That's when your buddy Knight Wagner got involved.
Not my buddy Knight Wagner got involved.
No DQ, no disqualification. Chairs started coming in. It was getting dismantled slowly but surely there. And Miss Guerrero decided to interject herself at that point.
Yeah, she interjected herself again and said that for his repeated chair shots to Knight Wagner, she said even though there's no disqualification, this was brutal. I forget the word she used, maybe ravenous. ravenous brutality. Do you remember the word she used, John?
I think that's right. I think that's correct.
Okay. And she decided to eliminate Titan from the match and award the match to Acer, but then Merrick Brave stepped in and gave Vicky Guerrero the old "You're."
I got 2 words for you.
Yep.
You're fired. God,
fired Vicky. And Reese kept the match with Travis and Joe, and then ultimately Joe Acer ended up tapping out to the Titans Cross, and we ended the night
correct.
on
And there's no doubting the tap out. Both myself and Larry Lemon were present. There's no disagreement between the refs. There's no, this happened, I saw this. We were there together in the moment, along with the 2 of them.
Decisive.
And Acer, to his credit, got a near fall while in the crossface.
That's true, he did.
It wasn't a foregone conclusion once it was the one-on-one contest. But after wrapping the ring rope around his throat, Joe decided continuing to breathe was better than tapped out.
Yeah. And that was the anniversary. And it was a heck of a night. We're going to have another heck of a night this Saturday night, John. Hawkamania 5.
Kickoff!
Super Kickoff. Hawkamania 5 Super Kickoff. 4919 Walleye Drive Southeast, Iowa City, Iowa. Special start time, guys. 8 p.m. The show is not starting at 8 p.m. So if you're like, oh man, I got tickets to the Hawkeyes, so I'm not going to go. No, you'll have plenty of time to do both. Go to Kinnick Stadium, have a great time at the Hawkeyes game, and then get your butt over to Wildwood, have some barbecue, have some beer, have some soda, whatever you like, water, whatever, and enjoy some great SCWPro action. And John, we have one match to talk about.
One match. One
match so far announced, but we talked a lot about anniversary. We don't disappoint on these tours. It's there's a lot of promotions where people feel like they get the same thing every month, and we're offering shows every week, and we go out of our way to make sure that every show feels different. Every show's got a different card. Every show's got different talent involved. So if you're like, oh man, I went to anniversary, I'm going to see the same thing at Hawkamania. No way. You're going to see something totally different and great in its own way. The one match we have announced for the QC Cup, Bradon McBride with Miss Olivia defends against the Hawkeye's own, former Iowa Hawkeye, Iowa City's own, Steve Manders. Steve Manders wants his cup back.
It's not his cup.
What?
It's not his cup. No, it's not his cup. Bradon McBride is the McBride's cup. It's over. Why is this guy is back again?
Saturday night, John, I want
why
to
does
go up to
Why does
Manders,
McBride have to defend the QC Cup outside of the Quad Cities? I don't understand this. I don't understand any of this.
The QC Cup, I mean, it's the same as other promotions that have a European Championship, United States Championship. You are a champion representing that region, whether you are in that region or not. So Bradon McBride is representing the Quad Cities, whether he's in the Quad Cities or not.
Hey, don't you lecture me about being a champion. Champion of the mic jockeys, maybe. But no, Bradon McBride doesn't need to be defending his cup in his Quad Cities Cup in Iowa City against the Hawkeye, the former Hawkeye. Let's say former Hawkeye Steve Manders.
Former QC Cup holder as well, and he'd like
You're
to
right.
get it back.
And how did he lose that cup? That's right. He got beaten. He lost. And then what happened again? He got pinned at anniversary, but let's just keep rewarding Steve Manders. Whatever.
Steve Manders works harder than he's a very hard worker. He's determined. He never gives up. He's fighting. What?
Is his job counting light? I guess thin.
Jon G, it sounds to me like you got beef with the Hawkeye, and I don't know what that's about.
I don't got beef with him. I just think at some point you have to just be a man and move on to the next thing. I'm
sure Steve Manders. First of all, Steve Manders doesn't make the matches. Commissioner Sean Morrow makes the matches, and he wants to give the Iowa City crowd a great match. And I'm sure Steve Manders would love to challenge Vicious and Delicious for the tag title. I'm sure he would love to challenge for the SCWPro Championship against the Shug Shane Hauser. Right now, the powers that be, the championship committee, Commissioner Sean Morrow, Merrick Brave, and all of his other advisors have determined that Steve Manders is part of the QC Cup division, and they obviously decided, being that he was the second to last person, he was the last person eliminated from the winning team, that maybe that makes him a contender for the QC Cup. Steve Manders.
I guess this could be. I don't think they have one for the cup, but is there a challenge clause? I think it only comes with the SCWPro Championship and the tag
rematch clause. A rematch clause for the cup. Absolutely. Joe Acer cashed in on his after Manders beat him. Manders is, for all intents and purposes, never had a rematch.
Okay, so this is just a clerical cleanup then. Makes perfect sense. I applaud Commissioner Sean Morrow for putting this on the books for Iowa City. I think it'll be good for Iowa City to see what Steve Manders is made of.
I think they'd love to see what Steve Manders is made of.
1, 2, 3.
So your prediction is McBride retains?
This business is about two things, Alex. Two things.
Yeah.
First. Winning and losing.
Yeah.
Manders is a loser.
Manders was a part of a 10-man, 2-ring war, and it took a 4-on-1 beatdown to get him eliminated. McBride won by disqualification when he framed his opponent.
Titan did all the work. I'm not discounting the winning team.
Apples and oranges, John G. This is apples and oranges.
Hey, if Titan would have had to eliminate so many of those guys, if Manders would have just taken care of a few more of them.
I don't know. I don't know what to say to you right now. What is your prediction for this QC Cup match?
Oh, McBride retains. And
McBride retains.
And he and his lovely valet will enjoy a fine smoked meat dinner. Yeah, that's my prediction.
All right.
You? What do you think's going to happen? I'm right. So
I'll be honest.
Go with mine.
Let's
go with mine.
I'll be honest. I'm a little torn, John, because this is going to be 8 days after the legendary Call Ballroom, where Bradon McBride took a shortcut, framed his opponent, and got off and stole his cup back.
And
from
Steve
Ronnie
Manders
Burton.
didn't have what it took to get the job done. So yeah, there's two things.
Manders went to war in
didn't
a
have
5-on-5
2-1. The other one didn't.
Are you kidding me? I don't believe you right now. This is some Mark Storm business. This is the kind of stuff I used to have to deal with Mark Storm, and I used to get fired up. I expected a little better from you, John, but you know what? I'm a Hawkeye fan. I'm a Steve Manders fan. Always have been. Always will be. I'm picking the Hawkeye to win back the cup. It took four guys to get Steve Manders down in the Call Ballroom. You can't tell me that Bradon McBride and Miss Olivia are going to be able to do it on their own.
Oh man, don't count out Miss Olivia.
I'm not.
Dangerous. She's dangerous.
I don't necessarily disagree, but it took almost the entire revolution to keep Steve down last time. What makes you think that Bradon McBride and Miss Olivia can do it?
Because Bradon McBride is a winner.
Well, Steve Manders has been a winner before too, especially in Iowa City. Here's another question for you, John. Hold on. Has Steve Manders ever lost in Iowa City?
I'm sure he struck out here more than once.
Has he ever lost in a wrestling ring at Wildwood?
I don't know. Who keeps track of all these things, McCarthy?
Oh,
it's impossible to remember all the matches.
John, I don't recall him ever being pinned or made to submit in Wildwood in a wrestling ring.
Well, I'm not surprised that you wouldn't recall that.
All right, guys. It's this Saturday night. Hawkamania 5. Super Kickoff. Special start time, 8 p.m. Enjoy the game. Or if you're not going to Kinnick Stadium, go ahead and get to Wildwood early. Watch the game at Wildwood. Enjoy some barbecue. Have a couple beers.
Get a good seat.
You know, some
guys
the good seats
there
before the
at
show.
Wildwood.
What?
The good seats go at Wildwood quickly. The good seats go quickly.
They do. They do. So, and you know, a lot of the guys, a lot of the wrestlers, some of our families, we like to eat there before the show. So, sit down and have a bite to eat. Watch the game with us. We might be there watching the game.
Buy a J.T. Energy doll or a Jah-C sticker.
I don't think either of those items are available right now.
But
they should be.
John, all disagreements aside, I think you and I both agree that the Wildwood shows always end up being a level of excitement that is unlike any of the other SCWPro shows. They all have their own flavor. The Dubuque show has its own flavor. The Walcott is our home. Call Ballroom is always grandiose. But there's something about Wildwood that really is saloon dirty.
Yeah, for sure. But, John, why don't you tell these people where they can find you on social media?
You can find me at the Real John G 123. Don't put an H in my name. Where can you find you and everybody here on the Slam Fan Wrestling Network, Alex?
You can find me at OneRealSmartAlex, Twitter and Instagram. Go ahead and follow the Slam Fam on Twitter at SlamFamRest, WREST, on Instagram at SlamFam Wrestling, and like the Slam Fam Wrestling Network on Facebook. And if you want to find out about more future SCW Pro shows, it's very simple, scw-pro.com or at SCWPro on all social media. It's this Saturday night, special start time, 8 p.m., Wildwood in Iowa City, 4919 Walleye Drive Southeast. Be there. We'll see you at the show.